Welcome back to Market Trends, the show that is redefining how the universe is changing just before our very eyes. We were talking about the future of healthcare and the healthcare ecosystem, and our guests are going to pull out their crystal balls and tell us exactly what the future of healthcare looks like. So we're going to start with you, Mr. Lee. What does the future of healthcare look like?
Virtual hospital.
Virtual hospital.
Virtual hospital.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
What that really looks like is, right now, primarily anytime we need to visit a physician, we walk ourselves to his office. And a lot of those visits can be taken care of by us over the web. He can diagnose us on anything that's non-emergent, that may not require pain medicine. And we're talking about the future, but that's really here now.
Right.
What we do as a company, personal health records, that's going to be the norm. The online second medical opinion by companies other than that are owned by physicians or hospitals. So a lot of the things that we're doing right now, I think that we actually are in the future,
right.
Because we have to have a huge educational component as to what we do also, because
right.
it's, just then we spoke about online banking.
Right.
3 years ago, 5 years ago, no way that would ever happen. That's really where medicine is happening.
It's almost as if the technology is moving faster than people's comfort zone.
Sure. To
be able to adopt it.
And one of the last things that you're taking a look at, some of our physicians right now are involved in robotic surgery. So if some of the top physicians happen to be in Japan,
right.
and you are a patient here, he can perform that surgery
Absolutely.
Today, right now.
Absolutely, yeah. I've spoken to doctors who are telling me that's exactly what's happening now. So you're absolutely right. So virtual hospitals, I like that. I'll put a bet on that one. Absolutely.
So I'm going to say the forecast is cloudy. And I think what's going to happen is really, it's all about a healthcare platform. What I mean by a healthcare platform is the ability to have a true, robust system that people can build apps on. So some of the things that are going to happen are in-place aging. So people are not going to, the hospital is one of the scariest places you can go. A lot of people get sicker when they go to the hospital.
Right.
So being at home and being able to be connected via the cloud into multiple devices. So let's say you're a diabetic and you got a glucose monitoring. To be able to have that information directly to your doctor, to the hospital, et cetera, via your monitoring device. Heart rate, blood pressure, all sorts of different things that you can happen. The other thing is also in the surgical suite. So one of the things that we actually are doing today is we're helping a company called OrthoSensor, which has a medical device implant. And so this device it sits in between a total knee replacement. And that device emits a tremendous amount of explosion of data into the suite and allows for proper alignment. Because traditionally, orthopod has to align the knee manually.
Right.
So this device allows them to align it, checks for viscosity, temperature, so when the patient even leaves, they can now see if the temperature is going up, they can get alerted to that. The physicians can say, oh my gosh, looks like there may be an infection, provide a prescription for antibiotics, etc. So there's all sorts of devices, technology, access that's going to change the way that healthcare is delivered. And so I think it is very cloudy. I think it's going to be a lot of emphasis in the home, just as Bernard was saying, a lot of telemedicine, a lot of visuals, and really leveraging the technology of tomorrow.
Wonderful. That's a great idea.
I'm the cockeyed optimist here. Because everything that we've talked about here is about what we're doing to handle and manage illness. I hope that we've changed the payment system and we've changed the delivery system such that we're focused on wellness. And that we actually have shifted our lifestyles enough that these are the rare occasions and that we're actually healthy, vital, 85-year-olds traveling around the world.
That's right.
And if something happens to happen to us as we're climbing the stairs of the Eiffel Tower, we know we can take care of ourselves.
Yeah, I like the view of that future. That's a wonderful future. Now, I'm gonna bring it back to this very notion that I think is in society is changing because technology is moving so fast and it's redefining the way these old notions that we've had. With the personal health data and doctors having access to EMRs, with the health insurance process changing as we speak, will we, the public, have to come to terms with the new definition of privacy, and namely letting go of the very notion of privacy, that we have private data, or that people do not have access to our data? Will we be looking at a society where our data and our information is readily available to, well, most people, or people who need to have access to that? Is that what we're looking at?
I hope not. I don't think so, but you know, the next generation might not mind that.
Right.
You know, I think that's probably a generation issue. You know, I think that my parents probably would be aghast at that. I'm certainly wouldn't be happy about that. But as kids, you know, grow up and they become more social, and you keep talking about cloudy, you know,
Right.
cloud, mobile, and social,
Right.
maybe it will be. Maybe they'll see the greater good in sharing data together, and you know, information where patients can talk to one another. They're experiencing the same things, or
Right.
talk about wellness programs. I like, you know, absolutely what you were talking about. So maybe it will change. You
Right.
know, but I think that privacy is important.
Well, but you see, I think what we're seeing too, like in talking about social, when we're seeing a site like Patients Like Me, who are sharing information about, you know, their particular ailment, in order for other people who are suffering from that ailment to be able to have the data of what they're going through, whether they're on, you know, some kind of protocol or some kind of drug testing that they're doing, and seeing how they're progressing on that in order to help other patients to do that, with the caveat that they are agreeing to allow certain people to see it when they want them to see it. So there's some level of ability to control that data.
I mean, that's kind
but
of,
not
you know,
complete.
I mean, in terms of being able to share it with
Right.
who you want to.
Exactly.
I mean, that is saying that I have control of the data. Where the questions come up, particularly for us, is who ultimately controls the data.
Right.
And there is no way that, you know, as a company that that has to make sure that security and encryption is number one,
Right.
that I can even view it personally as to being able just to share my data. I can't see it, and I don't think that's the direction. I think, as you know, as Americans, a couple things that we have the right to, and it is our information.
Right.
So to make it so accessible to others, I can't see that day.
Right.
I think the banking world has really, you know, plowed a lot of this ground for us. Because of the fact, you know, there was a time that people wouldn't trade in currency. They wanted to trade in salt and gold and
That's
other
right.
commodities.
That's right.
And they eventually came to trust the paper. And
Right.
I don't know, but most of us don't use paper very often,
Right.
you know. And so anymore, it's, you know, the ATM card or the debit card or the credit card. So it is a matter of time. You're right that that's going to be some hesitancy. But along the way, certainly that whole world has taught us that there are ways to deal in that world with security, to Bernard's point, but without carrying it all around with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's safer someplace up in a cloud.
Yep, absolutely. So in my final segment, I want to talk to you guys about a segment I like to call Ones to Watch. And what I mean by that is you guys have businesses that are trailblazing the marketplace, and which is the name of the show, Market Trends, about the kind of trends that you guys are creating. So I'd like to offer you guys to give me a 3-second pitch about how your particular business is blazing a new path in the market that is really leading your industry. So, you know, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about this PHR. Why do you think that, you know, Active Doctors Online is sort of like the model for the 21st century healthcare ecosystem?
All right. Well, there's two types of PHRs that are out there right now. There's free and there's paid. Okay. On the free side, you have some large companies, and you know, we can all guess as to who they are. Actually, one of the large companies is actually getting out of it. Now, reason that I believe that we're a lot different is that we are not just a health vault, all right, to where you can just store your records. We have a huge artificial intelligence-based platform. So we're a living, thinking, breathing, much more interoperable personal health record company. We also combine that with data retrieval and implementation of your records. Not too many companies are doing that. So we'll contact up to 5 of your doctors, send you a simple HIPAA release form, and we'll contact your doctor, retrieve the records, and put them into your system for you. The third thing that we do, which, you know, we believe that we're one at the top because we've been involved in that area since 2008, is the online second medical opinions. You know, we provide that at a great cost in 48 hours through existing network of over 1,100 physicians worldwide.
That's very interesting. Well, we're definitely going to be keeping our eyes on Active Doctors online and seeing you guys in the future. I definitely see a bright future, and very cloudy one too, I'm sure. Richard, what sets CareCloud, differently from people out in your field?
I think it's really our vision and our mission, which is really to revolutionize every healthcare experience, not just for the patients, but for the physician and for the staff. And, by focusing on the financial, clinical, and administrative components, everybody wins. So through our platform, through our system, we can really provide a much better experience. And that is increasing collections for the physicians because God knows they're taking a beating. Reimbursements, are getting cut all the time. They work just as hard to make less money. The patients need an ability to connect to the practice, become more educated, have access to their healthcare information. The staff needs rich tools. I mean, today, if you saw some of the tools that the staff was using in a doctor's office, it's mind-boggling. Right. So, really, the ability to really provide a complete digital ecosystem.
Okay. What about you, Pam?
Well, for Blue Cross Blue Shield, I think it comes down to the fundamentals that we're different because we're a not-for-profit. We're focused on the health of all Floridians and healthier communities. So we want to provide education at the core of how to best leverage what you have and what the system has to offer. Right. So whether you need that through one of our retail centers where you get it face-to-face, if you want to do it out of a mobile app in your hand, if you want to do it on the phone, we're here to try and make sure that people have access to the information they need to be better consumers. That's the trend that we have to follow. We've got to be better consumers of our healthcare dollar.
Absolutely. This is all great information. Thank you all for being here. I think this discussion is definitely one we need to continue as this changes almost every day. I think, our viewers would like to get to know more and be informed and know a little bit more. So definitely thank you all for being here on Market Trends. Thank you all for watching Market Trends. Watch us next week when we tackle the very, very changing face of education, both private and public. So remember also you can watch us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel at teleamerica.com, or you can follow me and send me a tweet at mdejean or at Market Trends. See you next week on Market Trends. And remember, if you're ahead of the curve, it's because you're watching Market Trends.